Is Big Baller Brand back? Yes, baby. Big Baller Brand is back. I've been waiting to wear this shirt probably for many years. I don't know what year I bought it. When I pulled it out, still in the original packing, had the large sticker on it, had to pull that off before hopping on the podcast because it's a perfect day to wear it. LiAngelo Ball, $9 million deal, a record deal with Def Jam and Universal Music. Lonzo Ball back in the starting lineup for the first time since January 14th, 2022. He had 15 points on 9 shots for the Bulls. And then you have LaMelo Ball having an unbelievable season for the Hornets this year, leading all East guards in votes. So he's probably going to start the game for one of the 3 teams this year with the new tournament style. Big opportunity for him. Big opportunity for Lonzo back in the starting lineup. And then LiAngelo. I mean, the song's good. It's a good song. It reminds me of early 2000s, mid 2000s. I'm just happy for the Ball family. I'm happy for LaVar Ball, especially. All of these t-shirts sold. LaVar, I mean, he won. He did it. His plan worked. You got to hand it to LaVar Ball. I'm very happy for all of them because that's a family that has been through adversity. Obviously, LaMelo's dealt with injuries. Lonzo, more than anybody, dealing with injuries, like almost 3 years to the day, nearly, that back in the starting lineup. That's crazy. And then LiAngelo, in and out of the league. It's kind of cool to see him carving out a lane in a different way. Next question from Jared. What happened to Tyler Herro's game this year? I had a lot of Heat fans in my mentions over the weekend as well because Miami just absolutely throttled, destroyed, dismantled the Portland Trailblazers, and Heat fans are still salty about not getting Damian Lillard, even though it worked out for the best. Because here's the thing. With Herro, I don't think anybody could have anticipated that he would turn into this player being a guy averaging 23.8 points, 5 assists, 5.6 boards, career high from 3, career high from 2. And according to Synergy Sports, he's in the 80th percentile or higher scoring off of screens, out of handoffs, and spot ups. Nobody could have seen this transformation coming, right? Where he becomes this player after seemingly plateauing for a while after his highs in the bubble. Herro said he's trying to resemble Stephen Curry. Eric Spoelstra recently alluded to that as well, I think after that Blazers game. And most players just, they don't change the way we've seen Herro change his game. It's unusual to see a guy change in the ways that Herro has, because think about his entire career. Here we have his shot location numbers. Throughout his career, 12.6% of his shots came in the restricted area, 20.4% in the paint, 22.7% from mid-range, 44.3% from three-point range. That has been altered dramatically, suddenly, overnight because of his intentions to play more like Steph. Now, mid-range dropping from 22.7 to 7.9. 3-point up 44.3 to 55.2. In the paint, about the same, 20.4 to 19.1 this year. Restricted area, getting to the paint a lot more now. 12.6 in the restricted area to 17.8. So you have Herro overhauling his shot selection suddenly. It's like this just doesn't happen. Players don't suddenly change like this. There's usually a progression. But Herro went from a guy taking a lot of mid-range last year to barely taking them at all this year. And instead, he's taking more threes. Instead, he's getting to the rim more often. He's gotten stronger. He's looking to play make more often. That's why we're seeing him with career-high numbers with passes per game, potential assists, total assists. You could argue if his teammates were hitting more jumpers, he'd be averaging closer to 6 or 7 assists per game rather than just 5. So you have Herro physically developed. His game has developed. His approach has developed. And so for Miami, I know the Jimmy Butler controversy and everything going on is a disappointment right now, but it really worked out not getting Damian Lillard. And that's because of the sudden development of Tyler Herro. So yes, that deal probably would have been better to take player-wise for Portland, but they did that deal for picks, not for Herro. But ultimately for the Miami Heat, they come out winners. Number 3, I've also been harassed all weekend by everybody on X. Russell Westbrook update. Got that question a bunch of different times because I was critical of Russ earlier in the year. I was critical of Russ last offseason. I said I felt sick to my stomach with the idea of the Nuggets signing Russell Westbrook after the disastrous seasons he had with both Los Angeles teams. But you know what? It's looking like I was wrong, at least right now. He's started 10 consecutive games. He's averaging 16 points, 8.1 assists, 7.7 boards in those 10 games. In those last 10 games, the Jokic-Russ lineup has a plus 19.1 net rating. And so you could say that this is just small sample size and that it falls back down to earth. That could be what happens. But it's been like a steady ascent. Step by step, it felt like Russ and Jokic have gotten better and better and better together. Earlier in the season, it was not working for Russ. It got a little bit better, and now it's at the point where you have these guys that it feels like the best two-man combo on the Nuggets, and the numbers do show that. This season, Russ is passing the ball to Jokic 52% of the time they're on the court together. He has 88 assists to Jokic to only 67 for Murray, 41 for MPJ. And so those numbers show how much Russ is looking for Jokic. He is passing the ball to him more than half the time over anybody else on Denver, and he's successfully doing it because we know Russ is a great playmaker. Together, they are scoring 1.1 points per handoff. So this is when Jokic is the setter, the screener, and then Russ is the guy receiving that ball. That's better than Jamal Murray, and Jokic better than MPJ and Jokic. The last 10 games, that number has gone up to 1.4 points per handoff, but with that combination. So you have Russell Westbrook in this new role playing with Jokic, one of the greatest center of solar systems we've seen in basketball, with his ability to just orchestrate an offense. And Russ has changed. He's changed. He started to a bit last year with the Clippers after not changing enough with the Lakers. Last year, he started to cut more often with that Clippers offense. This year, it's everything I could have dreamed of. Like, with his athleticism, his quickness, his first step ability, it's working there. And I think one of the interesting ways to kind of feel the Russ change is, like, Synergy Sports has this player comparisons tool, and the way it works is they look at play types, sets, how a player is being utilized, not just like points, assists, and rebounds and all stuff like that. It's what is this player being used as? In the last 3 years, the closest comparison going back each year was Dennis Smith, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham. So that's 2 years with the Clippers, Smith and Ivey, and then Cunningham, the closest comparison player type wise when he was with the Lakers. This year, the top 5 player comparisons for Russell Westbrook play type wise are Josh Giddey, Scottie Pippen Jr., Denny Avdia, Bilal Coulibaly, Stephon Castle. And so you go from 3 guards that handle the ball a lot to a bunch of kind of quirky, positionless type of players who cut and move without the ball, who screen sometimes. To me, I think that is really indicative of who Russ has turned himself into. And so credit to Russ. Credit to Jokic. He's having another MVP caliber season. He very well might win it again. And one of the great arguments in his favor is he has just completely rejuvenated Russell Westbrook, and Russ has embraced that role, and credit to him. To me, I think it's very easy to say. You can look at the old meme of like, oh, this is the greatest player ever. Russell Westbrook, middle of the season, he always looks great, and then it's just dread in the playoffs. Maybe it'll end up like that again, but he's playing differently, and credit to him for doing it. It's very cool to see.